It started with a cup of spilled coffee, and ended with the biggest surprise of her life. Before we begin, take just 2 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy emotional stories filled with unexpected twists, inspiring characters, and endings that stay with you long after the screen goes dark, you're in exactly the right place. Now, settle in, because this story isn't just about success. It's about kindness, dignity, and the extraordinary way one ordinary morning can change 2 lives forever. Emily Carter had learned long ago that life rarely gave second chances. At 28 years old, she had spent nearly every waking hour trying to prove herself in a world that seemed determined to overlook people like her. Growing up in a small town, she watched her single mother work double shifts cleaning office buildings just to keep the lights on. There were birthdays celebrated with homemade cupcakes instead of expensive gifts, holidays where laughter mattered more than decorations, and countless nights when her mother quietly skipped dinner so Emily could have enough to eat. Those memories never left her. They became the quiet voice reminding her to work harder whenever exhaustion whispered that it was okay to quit. Now she stood outside the towering glass headquarters of Harper Global Industries, one of the fastest-growing technology companies in the country. The sunlight reflected off the enormous windows so brightly that she had to shield her eyes. Employees dressed in tailored suits hurried through the revolving doors, talking confidently into wireless headsets while carrying sleek laptops. Emily looked down at her own outfit. A neatly pressed navy blue blazer she had bought from a thrift store. Simple black shoes polished until they almost looked new. A leather folder holding copies of her resume. It wasn't perfect, but it was everything she could afford. Today wasn't just another interview. It was her chance to become a project coordinator at the company she'd admired for years. She inhaled deeply. "You can do this," she whispered to herself. As she stepped inside, cool air rushed across the marble lobby. Everything looked immaculate. White floors reflected crystal chandeliers overhead, and enormous digital displays showcased the company's latest innovations. Emily approached the reception desk. "Good morning," she said politely. The receptionist smiled professionally. "Interview." Emily nodded. "Please have a seat. Someone from Human Resources will come for you shortly." Emily thanked her and sat near a large indoor garden in the center of the lobby. She reviewed her notes one last time, repeating possible interview answers in her mind. 5 minutes passed, then 10. She noticed an older man pushing a maintenance cart across the polished floor. He looked to be around 60. His gray hair peeked out beneath a faded navy maintenance cap. His uniform had small patches showing years of careful repairs. In one hand he carried a toolbox, while the other steadied a mop bucket rolling behind him. Unlike everyone rushing through the lobby, he wasn't in a hurry. He greeted every employee with a warm smile. Some smiled back, others barely noticed him. Emily watched as one executive brushed past without even making eye contact. The maintenance worker simply smiled anyway. There was something peaceful about him. He reminded Emily of her late grandfather, who had always believed that the way someone treated workers said more about their character than any resume ever could. As Emily continued reviewing her notes, her nervous fingers accidentally knocked over the paper cup beside her. Coffee splashed across the floor. Oh no, she jumped to her feet. "I'm so sorry." The receptionist reached for paper towels. But before she could move, the maintenance worker quietly wheeled his cart over. "It's all right," he said gently. "Happens more often than you'd think." Emily immediately knelt down. "Please let me help," he smiled. "You don't have to." "I know," she replied, "but it's my mess." Without hesitation, she took several paper towels and began wiping the floor beside him. Several employees glanced over. One young manager laughed quietly to another colleague. "Interview candidate already cleaning floors." Emily ignored them. The maintenance worker noticed. "You don't seem embarrassed." Emily smiled. "My mom cleaned offices for 25 years. She continued wiping the floor. "I learned early that honest work deserves respect." For a brief second, the man's expression changed. Not surprise. Something deeper. Almost gratitude. They finished cleaning together. "Thank you," he said. "You probably saved me 5 minutes." Emily laughed softly. "I've been told I'm pretty good during small emergencies." He chuckled. "I can believe that." A comfortable silence settled between them. Then he noticed the folder in her hand. "Interview." "Yes." "Nervous." "Terrified." He laughed again. That's normal, she sighed. I've wanted this opportunity for years. What makes this company so special? Emily thought carefully before answering. I don't actually care about the fancy building. She looked around. I care about working somewhere that values people. The maintenance worker leaned lightly against his mop handle. And if it doesn't, Emily shrugged, then maybe it isn't where I'm supposed to be. He studied her quietly. Most people tried impressing strangers by talking about salaries, promotions, or prestige. Emily never mentioned money once. Instead, she spoke about purpose, respect, belonging. The older man extended his hand. I'm Daniel. She shook it warmly. Emily. It was nice meeting you, Emily. You too. At that moment, a sharply dressed executive stormed into the lobby speaking loudly on his phone. He stopped beside Daniel. I've asked 3 times for someone to fix the conference room projector. Daniel answered calmly. I'm on my way there now. The executive rolled his eyes dramatically. Maybe try moving faster. Without another word, he walked away. Emily frowned. That wasn't very kind. Daniel simply smiled. Everyone has difficult days. She watched the executive disappear into an elevator. My grandfather used to say that power doesn't reveal character. Daniel raised an eyebrow. What does it do? It magnifies it. For the first time, Daniel looked genuinely impressed. Before he could respond, an HR representative appeared. Emily Carter. She stood quickly. That's me. The recruiter smiled. We're ready for you. Emily turned back toward Daniel. Wish me luck. He nodded warmly. I don't think you'll need luck. She smiled. I hope you're right. As she followed HR toward the elevators, she glanced back one last time. Daniel had already returned to polishing the marble floor. Just another maintenance worker, or so she believed. The interview lasted nearly 2 hours. There were difficult questions, unexpected scenarios, group exercises, a presentation. Emily answered honestly whenever she didn't know something instead of pretending she did. When asked how she would manage conflict between coworkers, she replied, I believe people usually want to be heard before they want to be corrected. One interviewer quietly smiled, another took careful notes. As the interview concluded, the HR director thanked her. We'll contact you within the next few days. Emily shook everyone's hand. Walking back through the lobby, she felt emotionally drained. She wasn't sure whether she'd impressed anyone. She noticed Daniel replacing a light fixture near the entrance. Finished? He asked. She nodded. I think it went okay. I told you. She laughed. You were more confident than I was. He climbed carefully down the ladder. Sometimes people need someone else to believe in them first. Emily smiled. I'll remember that. Her phone buzzed. It was a reminder to pick up groceries before heading home. Reality was waiting. Bills, rent, responsibilities. She waved goodbye. It was nice meeting you, Daniel. The pleasure was mine. As Emily walked toward the exit, Daniel watched her leave through the revolving doors. Only after she disappeared into the afternoon crowd did his warm smile slowly fade into thoughtful silence. A young assistant hurried across the lobby. Sir. Daniel turned. No one else was close enough to hear. The board meeting begins in 20 minutes. Daniel glanced once more toward the entrance where Emily had vanished. Then, with a calm expression, he removed his worn maintenance cap. The assistant accepted it respectfully. Another employee appeared carrying a perfectly tailored charcoal gray suit protected inside a garment bag. Within minutes, the man everyone believed to be part of the maintenance staff walked through a private hallway. Security guards immediately stood straighter. Senior executives lowered their voices. Doors opened before he reached them. The maintenance cart was quietly rolled away. The toolbox disappeared. When Daniel emerged again, dressed in an elegant custom suit, every executive in the hallway greeted him with unmistakable respect. Good afternoon, Mr. Harper. He acknowledged them with a simple nod. No one in the building knew that Daniel Harper, the quiet maintenance worker Emily had helped clean spilled coffee, was the billionaire founder and majority owner of Harper Global Industries. And over the weekend, he would make a decision that would change Emily Carter's life forever. Because on Monday morning, the woman who thought she'd shared a simple conversation with a maintenance worker would walk into the office expecting her first day as a new employee. Only to discover that the man who believed in her before anyone else was now sitting in the CEO's chair.